Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely stream deck. For more information about the stream deck, the link is in the description below.
Hello everyone and welcome to Apex Online Racing Formula 1 action. We are here today in Belgium for round number 8 for the PC European F1 Championship. The Belgium Grand Prix is brought to you by our sponsors Elgato, SIMSOK, and Driver 61. I am Fizzymon and I will be your host today, and alongside me as always is Benikage. Benny, we've had a lot of break weeks and we're finally starting to get back into the racing again. How are you feeling? Yeah. I actually think I have to turn up my desktop volume. Can you recome with that again? I think that all got missed.
I was saying, absolutely fantastic to be back. I said it feels a little bit like F2 because you know they had that really long break between Sochi and, or was it Monza, and they came back after like 5 weeks off. But what a track to be back at! I'll tell you what. I mean, the legendary Spa-Francorchamps.
Yes, agreed here. I'm going to do a quick mic check for you because I'm noticing that my audio keeps not picking you up. Can you just blabble some words real fast for me?
Yeah. So Spa tonight. Really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be an absolutely fantastic race, and we'll have to see. We'll see who comes out on top.
Yeah, that does look like it does the trick. The last time I streamed F1 last week, my F1 volume had to be was completely out the wazoo, so I had to completely remove a lot of the audio stuff or whatever and tone it way down. And this week, I guess it reverted back to its normal self, so I had to turn it back up. But yeah, Benny, you were absolutely right with what you were saying. It's been a while. We've definitely been missing F1, so let's get a little caught up on the standings. So now here we're going to take a look at our Tier 1 standings. Jan Fehler on top right now. After that dramatic ending in Monza, Ripson was on a little bit of a recovery drive there, holding on to second place. Darn in third, Sauerbraten in fourth after that dramatic victory. Once again in Monza, an F1 racer holding fifth position. McLaren taking over the lead from the reserve teams finally. McLaren leading the constructors after a better day from Jan Fehler than either Darn and Patrick last week. The reserves dropped to third place. Ferrari up into fourth, and Alfa Romeo in fifth because Ripson and Sauerbraten were initially on the reserve team. So their points were initially counting for the reserve team. That is why you see the total for Ripson and Sauerbraten up top does not add up to the current Alfa Romeo team. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at some of the other standings. So we're going to go ahead to Tier 3. Now, Tier 2 does not have a stream anymore. I do apologize for that very so much. The solution for that, we will get at those graphics and how they are doing in the coming week. So that way we'll be able to resume showing off their standings as well so everyone can get their fair share. Now, Tier number 2, Creepy Drive leading the way in the Aston Martin with a huge lead over Scrag and Kanaku. Aston Martin, as a result, leading the constructors by a fairly big margin. Currently up ahead. Actually, I can make these standings bigger. I do apologize, folks. There we have it. A little bit easier to read. Aston Martin in first, followed by a close battle for second between Alfa Romeo, Haas, and Williams. 3 points between second, third, and fourth position. Now over to Tier 4, Gerard currently holding on to the championship lead in the AlphaTauri. He's got a 20-point lead over Balu. Leonard holding up in third, Sly in fourth, Bayerturn in fifth. AlphaTauri, as a result, with a very nice lead over McLaren and Alpine for the constructors as they look to pull away in the last 6 rounds. Over to Tier number 5, Max Duca leading the way for Alfa Romeo. He actually just took the championship lead from Victor Waza after what I assume was a race victory at Monza. Cine going up into second place, up 3 positions. Victor Waza only in third, Tom JD in fourth, Dak Attack in fifth. Alfa Romeo is now the new constructors leader. They have an 11-point lead over Ferrari in a very tight battle for the constructors. Now to F6. As you can see, F6 merged with F7. So here is our current standings. Josiah up 16 positions because of the merge standings. He is at 110 points, the new championship leader. Boxer Frog, 101 right behind. Arfa XAD is in third after the merge. Mercedes currently in first place, 169 points. Only 10 points over Red Bull, who's a new entry due to the merging. And Alfa Romeo is in third with McLaren, another new entry, in fourth. Now we're going to go ahead and look at the assist leagues. Avi, the Scotsman, has been doing a phenomenal job. He's actually been scoring at the top of the weekly events. Fun fact for that. He is currently dominating AL1 with Tom 24. It looks like 39 points behind with McBlurk in tow. McLaren, as a result, has a nice, solid lead in the constructors. We cannot count out Froxer and Karnak, who are doing some very good results, both tied for fourth in the constructors, or tied for fourth, excuse me, in the drivers, and currently holding second in the constructors. Now to AL2. Scorp currently has a 2-point advantage over Beyond with Sam Rambo very far back. So it's a very close championship battle, 2-car battle. As the same goes for the constructors, Red Bull and McLaren, only 6 points in between of them. So it is huge. Very, very tight scenes. And now to AL3. Catlini with a 2-point advantage over Delta at the top. AL2 and AL3 doing a fantastic job on the PC side of things, keeping the championships close with Butinets. That's an interesting name, Benny. In the Mercedes up into third. Now McLaren is a 6-point advantage over Alfa Romeo in the constructors. Now Xbox is on the unofficial stream, so you can go ahead and check out their results on the unofficial one. Now over to the main PlayStation leagues. We have actually, I don't believe this standings has not been updated, maybe? Hold on. Or do I have it in the wrong order? Because Charles LeGreg, is he in PlayStation? Or I think I have a little mistake here, and I do apologize. Let me just make sure I am looking up things accordingly, because I believe I just made a mistake. Benny, Charles LeGreg, that sounds like... What tier is it? Oh, that's tier 4 in the assist leagues. I do apologize. This is AL4. I forgot we had 5 assist tiers. I do apologize. WatchTech currently leading the way. The Polishman with a 12-point advantage over Charles Leclerc, new championship leader. So that is huge. Charles Leclerc down to second. Mercedes still leading the constructors thanks to Cozine's effort, down in fifth. But Red Bull closing the gap. Now over to AL5. Daniel, the new championship leader, over Messiah Complex, who drops a position, while McLaren is currently still leading the constructors with a nice lead over Mercedes. Now over to PlayStation tier number 1. Jero Schriff with 168 points, a very, very nice point total to his name, leading the way over Solid Ninja Steak, who has 142 points, with FLX Ralph in third place. Alpine, as a result, dominating the constructors, 295 to 168 over Aston Martin, followed up by Red Bull. PlayStation Tier 2, Worthington leading the way, 148 to 108 points. That's a huge margin. 40 points is the difference. And Andre Ivan's going to have a little bit more luck in order to beat Worthington, who's got 4 race victories to his 2. AlphaTauri currently dominating the constructors once again, 240 to 159 points over Aston Martin. And now over to tier number 3 for the PlayStation side of things. We have Zioja leading the way. He's got 3 wins on the season, and he has a nice 18-point gap over No Mercy. F1 fan Liam holding on to third place with Kraggles in fourth. Now McLaren only has a 16-point lead over the Mercedes duo that's currently doing well overall. So McLaren is not all done and dusted because Zojaya needs help from his teammate. Now our last tier we'll be showing today is PlayStation Assist League 1. Assist League 2 has not updated their standings, and neither has an AO3. I believe he's gone. So Gobert Limitless leading the assist league. He's actually the new championship leader with 4-point advantage over Ziat in the McLaren, with Ermis Grivis down a position into 12th and Alexander Alex G in 4th. McLaren, the new Constructors Championship leaders, even though their best driver is only in second, 288 to 281. So it's a very, very close battle there as well. And that is our standings for this week. Whew, that was a lot, Benny.
Certainly, a lot of closer championship battles, I should say, down towards the bottom, the lower tiers. But we got a good one here up in F1. You know, it's only 25 points between Jan Fehler and Ripson. Ripson, who's had a fantastic showing in the early stages of the season. You had 2 podiums. He's had 2 fourth places in his opening 4. He finished outside the points then and only had a podium and a 7th since then. So that's kind of the difference maker here in F1. And of course, FVR Darn finishing 12th and 2 DNFs as well. He's only 7 points ahead of Sauerbraten. So back here in F1, loads to play for. Absolutely loads to play for. And I think Spa is really going to test a lot of these drivers here today. They got to both shake off the rust, Fizzy, and deal with a notoriously difficult track.
I think it'll be very fun. Usually it's a fan favorite. So I would say Spa is definitely one of the most popular tracks on the calendar, if not the most popular. You can always argue that however which way you would like. But yeah, it should definitely be a very, very exciting race. We have only 14 drivers today. We have a few drivers who called out sick, including our championship leader, Jan Fehler. So Ripson gets a chance to close up the gap with the championship leader currently out due to the fact that he is just not feeling well. So Ripson, 25 points behind. If he could win today without getting fastest lap, because outright win, he's tied on points with Fehler. So this could be huge for the championship. We've got to keep an eye on this.
Absolutely, and I mean it's going to be it's a lot of pressure, I think, on Ripson, man, because you see your championship rivals not going to make it, and you want to make the most of it. You want to try to maybe we see a little bit more risks being taken because of that, but still got to stay cool, got to stay calm. It notoriously can rain around here as well. That'll throw a spanner in the works for a lot of these drivers, and got to make sure that they have the mental fortitude to make the right decisions when the time comes. So I think that's going to be a big. I'm really interested to see the weather. I think that's really going to just throw. It could throw everything off, just completely. It's such a really just very dynamic track when it comes to the weather and the conditions.
I do agree. I mean, the weather changes everything up. And the other thing I want to note is that I know I personally, when I had the Americas race here, and I believe you recall the interview, I had the hard tires on for some time around Belgium. And here's the thing. So the strategy here should be an easy soft medium. Even with an early safety car, you put on the mediums and go to the end. Very straightforward. However, if there's an early safety car, the game will think, oh, you can't make it to the end, and it'll switch you onto the hards without telling you when Jeff radios in. If you don't tell Jeff, oh, don't want to change the strategy, he will force you onto the hard tires, and it will ruin your race. So hopefully no one falls victim to that. Hopefully we have ourselves a great race. And now as we load into the lobby,
we need one of those. We need one of those memes where it's like Evil Jeff. Evil Jeff says hard tires.
Yes, Evil Jeff does say hard tires. And it was funny because both my teammate in the Alpine and myself had that issue. So, hopefully the Alpine drivers today do not have that issue. But we will have to wait and see. It appears my game... Well, I'll have to wait and see until the actual... until the actual cars start going out on track to make sure we're getting some kind of game volume. Because that's never no fun. Looks like a dry qualifying session so far. Let's see if we can get a weather update. I'm going to go ahead and inquire about that. See if I can kind of get us a little bit.
It's looking a little overcast. It's looking dry, but I don't think just from the early scenery that I can see from the pit lane, it doesn't look like it's, sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. So we'll have to see. Looks like maybe the potential for rain could set in here. It's a bit overcast.
I mean, this looks definitely dry. I would definitely agree on that one. Definitely gonna have to increase the game volume. I'm gonna increase it on my end. I asked for weather because of the race. Now we do know qualifying is definitely looking like it's gonna be dry. I think that is no questions asked. But what is the race going to prove? And currently my game volume is just not really picking up by the desktop. Oh, yes. I do apologize on that. Let's see if I want to mess around with this a little bit more.
It's all good.
trying not to have you blow out my ears, but at the same time, I want the game to pick up. So can you talk for me just for a moment?
Absolutely. So I'm watching Sauerbraten. He was one of the first to come out of the pits in the after room. He's going around Pujon right now. He's got the softs on as well. So remember that if no matter if the race is wet or dry, if the race starts dry here, these drivers are going to have to start on these tires that they put their fastest lap in qualifying. So Sauerbraten going with the softs. 22 laps is going to be the amount that we're going to run here, of course. And for me, Spa's actually like kind of a really quick race in general, like 44 laps. You figure a lot of drivers can get sub 2 minutes in the dry. I mean, you're looking at like an 80-minute race. Really, it's kind of very quick compared to other circuits like Singapore, particularly, and even for me, like a Monaco, just the pure number of laps in Monaco, but especially if it rains. But still, I think a bit of a quick race. So 22 laps is not a lot of time.
Well, it's being reported, I believe, from one of the airborne, at least someone who's in contact with the airborne drivers. Fisk in chat has said that apparently there's a chance of rain at the end of the race. So these drivers definitely hoping for it to be a quick one. Otherwise, it could be horrible. But look at this. Speak of the airborne drivers, Ripson providing an absolutely beautiful toe to Sauerbraten down the Kemmel straight. Sauerbraten with a 29.9 first sector. That's very, very quick. Let's actually ride on board with him through the rest of this lap now. Looking like pretty good so far. Trying to go for provisional pole now through the very slow right-hander and then through No Name. Sauerbraten pushing the limits, doing everything he can. Not really carrying as much speed as he'd want through No Name. But now into Pujon here, holding 7th gear. Barely stays on track, very close here. And now coming into the end of Sector 2, goes a little wide, does not hit the apex properly. I don't think Sauerbraten's getting the most out of this lap as what he would want, because he's definitely missed a few apexes there. It's a 113.4 middle sector. All he has left is the bus stop chicane. Everything else flat out in these F1 cars. Let's see what kind of lap time Sauerbraten has in store. But like you said, it is a long lap, but the lap count is shorter. So it has its up and down. It's like these guys are barely going to be able to do 3 laps in this session. Come race time. Yes. Now Sauerbraten coming out of the final corner. It's going to be a 1:41.8. That is the mark that everyone will be chasing. And I assume Sauerbraten's probably going to slow up and give his teammate a tow. But let's look at Polkis, 14.6 through the middle sector. What does the Alpha Tauri driver have in store? Across the lines, only a 1:43.0, so not the lap he was looking for, but he had a purple final sector. Gelbavon is not the one coming up. F1 Racer with a 42.6 on the soft, so no one really able to match Sauerbraten's mark. But Sauerbraten did have an almighty toe. Galaxy with a 1:42.8. Behind him, it looks like Armate, who goes up into 5th, 1:43.1. So, into 6th as Tudor comes across the line with a 1:42.7. So, drivers struggling to get to grips. It looks like these times definitely a little slower. I would expect them to be in the 41s. I expect Pole to be at a low 1:41 here today. But yes, very, very interesting to see how this session goes on. Sauerbraten, almost a second clear of F1 Racer. But I think we got to keep an eye on his teammate at this point. What does Ripson have on his first run?
I was about to jump in here because I was watching Ripson while you were going across the line, and he got just as equally as perfect a toe. Big difference is if you saw Brussels corner down into No Name, of course, Sauerbraten took that in 2nd, whereas Ripson managed to get that in 3rd, and he quick upshifted to 4th gear heading in towards No Name. So he is looking very good. He's purple through the 2nd sector. Of course, there's a yellow flag in Sector 3. Looks like just some cars slowing up, trying to find space, but as you said previously, all that's left is bus stop. He is going around Blanchemont now into the bus stop chicane, down into 2nd gear, 3rd very quickly. He upshifted and then downshifted, upshifted again. Now he's up to the DRS. Can he get across the line? It's a 42.0. I think I lost a little bit of time there in the very last corner, the exit of the very last corner, because he hit the rev limiter in 4th gear and he kind of stuck it there for a 10th or 2, and that might have just been the difference between him and his teammate. But they are 1-2, the airborne drivers right now. And pretty good lap times on that 141.8, I gotta say.
Yeah, very, very good lap times there by both of the Alfa Romeo drivers. And the Ferrari pair, currently 3rd and 4th. Gelbevand coming home 3/10 exactly off of Sauerbrunn, currently invalidated on his in-lap, of course. You do have a yellow flag. That is a slow Aston Martin of Lior's, who does not have a lap time set. Well, then, sorry, Lior's does have a lap time set. It is 1.5 seconds off of the pace. Several drivers, Crew 6, Field Racing Seb, Patrick Rivershan with no time set at the moment. Crew 6, though, it looks like he's on a lap. Now, I think if I was right, Ripson was 1:13.5 at end of Sector 2. Crew 6, 1:13.8. Purple middle sector. We're not sure if that's actual visual. Crew 6, though, looking to put it on one of the front 2 rows. Now, according to chat, the Airborne team thinks the best they can do is a 1:41.6. Do we think they can beat that? Excuse me.
I mean, you're talking about 2/10. It's totally possible. And yes, it does look like, by the way, Crew 6 is a little bit on a slower lap. Purple middle sector, but not in Sector 1. He lost a lot of time in Sector 1, it looks like. He is going to come across the line right now, and he is going to put in a 42 flat. So he is just behind Ripson. That is what, 52, 58, I want to say, or 52 or 62, 1/1000th of a second, something like that, somewhere around there. So that is a very, very, very close lap time from the AlphaTauri driver. Very well done, as Liors is going to come into the pit. Everybody in the pits now, getting ready for a second lap. Sauerbrann's already on his out lap, by the way, as Ripson's still in the pits. And so Ripson probably going to wait for that slipstream again, as drivers switch over to fresher tires now.
Yes, one of the drivers who has not set a lap time yet, he's in the pits again, is Patrick. Patrick has been really good in qualifying, but he does not have a lap time set at the moment, so we're going to have to keep an eye on him. Seb on an out lap right now, and so is Rivershan. Neither of those drivers have qualified on pole. Seb, though, did have, I believe, good qualifying in Austria, so he does have the potential at some of these tracks, but right now, nothing is going for him. But let's keep an eye, like you said, on Sauerbrunn, who's probably one of the next drivers to start his lap. Actually, excuse me, Rivershan is up ahead of him on an out lap, followed by Sauerbrunn. So it's all going to go for it. But it doesn't look like Ripson's going in the pit lane at the moment, so I'm not sure if Sauerbrann's going to be able to get a tow this time around.
Yeah, you see kind of like, I would love to see that kind of teamwork from more teams, because some of these drivers that are without their teammate this weekend, like Tudor specifically, Rivershan as well, you know, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. Their job is made more difficult now. The fact that they cannot kind of pace themselves against a teammate and get that toe down the Camel Straight. It's a very long straight. Rivershan's just invalidated his lap, so he's going to have to come in. He's running out of time too, because like you said, it is a longer lap time. So this was a very long invalidated in lap, my friend, that Rivershan's going to have to be on. But
look at Sauerbrunn. Ripson did come out in time. They timed it perfectly, but Sauerbrunn lost 1/10.5 through the first sector. It looked like he struggled through Eau Rouge and Radion, especially through Radion. It looked like he had to slow up a little, like he was going a little wide through Eau Rouge and had to slow up a tad through Radion to keep it valid, because his turn 1 looked somewhat tighty. But now Sauerbrunn, let's see what he can do through the middle sector, now through No Name, and then into Huan. What does he have? He was holding 7th gear last time around. Keeps it barely on track. No, he does not. That is invalid for Sauerbrunn. This lap is ruined. Question is, does he give a tow for his teammate Ripson, or does he duck back into the pits? I bet that he'll give a nice little tow, as these guys are pretty good teammates. Now let's keep an eye on who's on a lap. Gelbawan currently on an out lap. Seb is on a lap. F1 Racer invalidated his lap. Seb currently in the first sector. Let's take a look at his first sector split. It's going to be a 30.2, so 3/10 off the first sector set by Sauerbrunn, missing the first apex of Lacombe, hitting the second one, and then through Malmedy. Nice and tidy. Doesn't use all the track. Looks like he backed out of it. He shut off his battery. So Seb,
he got a little loose on that exit of the chicane after the Camel Straight, so he's lost quite a few tenths there. So
yes.
I wouldn't blame him in importing the lap.
I mean, right behind Tudor, who goes wide and invalidates, was on a lap, but Tudor, after invalidating, is backing out as well. Let's keep an eye on Ripson at the moment. Actually, let's keep an eye on Patrick. Patrick, actually, just kidding. Patrick invalidated. So no point in keeping an eye on Patrick, as he will not improve on this time around. Crew 6 currently on an out lap. Pulkis on a lap, but he invalidated before the bus stop chicane. He was 2/10 down, though, so the AlphaTauri driver.
Hmiel just went on a 30.2, I believe it was just under a tenth quicker here. So he is looking pretty good on his lap so far. I love how he's held 5th on the exit there to No Name. He's looking pretty fast.
Yeah, Gabelman through Puon. He's been a very quick driver. He's no stranger to nabbing pole position here in Tier 1. He's done it in the past. Can he do it again in a second race back this season? It's gonna be tricky, as he does not have the slipstream advantage that his main rivals up ahead do. But now through campus, what does he have? Keeps it. Oh, invalidates. Oh, he got just a tad too squirmy. He was good, and then he had slight oversteer and went off. That is heartbreak for him. Ripson, meanwhile, is improving by 2.5 tenths. Ripson on an absolute flyer right now. He's looking to steal pole position from Sauerbraten. All he has left is the bus stop chicane. Ripson on track for 41.7 at this stage. What can he do? Through the bus stop chicane. Heavy braking right now after the 100-meter board. We have a yellow flag in Sector 2. That is one of the Williams, if I am correct.
That's darn, yes, he just spun on the exit.
Ripson had a little bit of wheel spin on the exit of the bus stop, but he still goes quickest, 141.7, a 10th clear of his teammate. So, interesting scenes up the front. Patrick still does not have a lap. Rivershan does not have a lap. Now, is Patrick currently on another lap? No, Patrick invalidated again. So, a Williams driver probably now on it in lapsing. He has
he lost it on the exit to campus. The back end just went around on him. And it's really unfortunate. These curbs can be, in certain spots around this track, particularly really dangerous, especially Pouhon. But yeah, it is going to be diving into the pits for Darn. He's on an in lap. Patrick now, by the way, him and Rivershan are kind of running out of time here. Yeah,
they are definitely running out of time. Krusix, meanwhile, ran out of road. He went too wide out of Lecombs. Actually, excuse me, sorry, not out of Lecombs, out of Malmedy, and invalidated his lap. So, unfortunate scenes for Krusix. He will have enough time to do one more run. Everyone who's currently on an in-lap should be able to make it to the pits in time to have one more run. But the first one starting, what I would assume is their final run, he will not have enough time after this, is F1 Racer. We'll see what the German driver can do. Down in P5, there's over 4.5 tenths between him and his teammate. So he's going to need to find a lot of time if he wants to improve on his position. But at the very least, improving should help him defend his position. So, as we are currently in the calm of the storm with no one on a valid current hot lap.
You got to kind of ask yourself what the advantage is, too. What you think the advantage would be for having that pole all the way down. Because from Ripson and Sauerbraten, they start that slipstream effect on the exit to, or on the exit of turn 1, on the exit of La Source. So, really, you've got to think with the pace that one of the Ferraris has shown in Hmiel, I mean, how much more time could he shave off if he got a tow? Because you're only talking about 3 tenths between him and the Alfa Romeos in front.
Yeah, well, it looked like that was the difference there. Is it looks like 2 to 3 tenths is what it seems to be in the first sector. I mean, these guys are doing 29 high, like 29.9, while Gabelman and everyone else is kind of doing a 31, 32 through the first sector. So I think that gap that we see on our current leaderboard, that is the difference of the slipstreamers effect. There is nothing separating these guys, it seems like, throughout the rest of the lap, but on their actual quali lap, when they have the slipstream, it's just that much of a difference. And I think we'll see that in the race. DRS is very powerful here, and the slipstream going into Overrush and Radeon, since you can take them flat, as we see F1 Racer doing so. Go on board with him. But you'll see here, he's got a beautiful run, had a nice run through La Source, all flat out, all the way down into Lake Home. But his first sector split, it's a 30.1, so he's improved by a 10.5, had a much better run through the start of the lap, but he's still 2 tenths down off of pole. So the question remains, can he find more time through the middle sector? That'll be what's key. Nice and tidy, though. Into No Name, down to 4th gear, planning the throttle, keeping it nice and valid. What does F1 Racer have in store? Through Pouhon, holding 7th gear. Slight lift. Ooh, he hit the brakes a little bit. I think that cost him a little bit of time through a corner like Pouhon. You don't want to hit the brakes. So F1 Racer not having the most confidence right now, it seems, on this lap. But the end of Sector 2, I think, if I recall correctly, Ripson's at 13.4, What is the F1 Racer Sector 2 split going to be? 13-9, 3.5 tenths improved, but that's not enough even for P4. So that purple middle sector is not accurate.
Yeah, and so, I mean, look, it looked really good through Brussels and No Name. It just looked fantastic, but he lost a lot of time, like you said, through Pouhon. He's now coming up towards the bus stop chicane. What does he have left? As he just goes over the curb pretty aggressively, the first start of that curb. Now he's on to the straight, and the time is going to be a 42.4, so he improves. But yes, that middle sector lost him, or at least the last sector, he lost another tenth because he was, what, almost 4 tenths up on his previous time, and now he only finishes less than 3 tenths up. So he improves the time, but not the position. Yeah,
it looks like he ate the entry of the bus stop chicane. Didn't take it as tidy as what Liors did, but Liors is a little slower on this lap. Will the Israeli improve? Israeli goes up to 9, 0.3 of a second half faster than the AlphaTauris. Everyone starts to finish their flying lap. Our mate currently in the first sector. I don't think anyone else is currently finishing their lap. It looks like Krusix starting his lap. Behind him, Polkis on a lap right now. He's 3.5 tenths improves. The AlphaTauri driver trying to crack higher than 10th position right now, where he's looking at possibly getting 7th or 6th even off a Tudor. So he's going to be the first driver to finish his final lap. I mean, he should cross the line with enough time to start another lap, but he probably doesn't have the fuel for it. So Polkis, the first one to finish his qualifying session. What will he do? Nice and tight. Ooh, a little bit of rear wheel spin on the exit of the bus stop. It's a 42.7. That is 6th place by 1,000th of a second over Tudor. Behind him, Seb, 5.5 seconds improved. So that's not to be, I mean, that's definitely anticipated. He only 7.5 seconds off the pace. Seb's going to cross the line. He goes P10, will not start any higher. Behind him is that Darn. That is Darn.
That is Darn, yes.
Darn does not improve.
No. It looked like he lost it on the chapel section a little bit there. He took the curb a little bit too early, and then he had to pull out of the exit, and he just couldn't make the time up elsewhere. So the chapel corner here, catching a few drivers out.
F1 Racer did 2 laps back-to-back, improved, but did not beat his teammate who invalidated his lap. Tudor invalidated his lap. Behind them, Patrick did not set a valid lap time, so his session is over. Next across the line is not Galaxy, it is his teammate Armate. Armate goes up into 4th. Army, what a lap by the Red Bull driver. We've not seen them start that high up. And then now, Ken Ripson extended his advantage over his teammate Sauerbraten. Ripson slows up. He was not improving, so he will not improve on that time. Behind him is Galaxy. Tudor retires from the session. Galaxy goes up into 7th. The Red Bull pair with a very nice qualifying showing. And then Rivershan up into 8th position. Behind them, though, can Krusix deny this? Can he put it on the front row? Krusix puts it on pole! Krusix beats out the Alfa Romeo pair to 141.7. The AlphaTauri driver is on pole position at the last and final second. Wow, did not see that one coming, Benny.
No, that's a huge surprise, but what an absolute stonking lap from the AlphaTauri driver.
Now, I want to know,
fantastic.
On that laps at the end there that Ripson was doing, was he improving, and did he just throw away pole position? I'm assuming he didn't as he slowed up, but, oh, that would be such heartbreak. I mean, he's on the front row nonetheless, so, you can't be mad about that. But Ripson needs all 25 points today, and now Krusix is ahead of him at the end of the session, so that is huge. A fantastic lap by the AlphaTauri driver to put it on pole. Ripson will start alongside him. Behind them, Sauerbraten and Armate with a fantastic lap by the Red Bull driver. His best finish on the season, I'm going to have to go ahead and look that up real fast. Armate's best finish on the season, he's currently 11th in the championship. He got 6th in Spain. So Armate currently starting in 4th in what could be his best race of the season. Wow. Fantastic season. Patrick, all the way down 14th, he's going to be one to watch for. Certainly, because
absolutely. I think, too, Rivershan did very well to finally, in the last opportunity that he had, just stick it into the top 10, get up into 8th position. Not bad. Certainly an area with which he could build on going into the race. Again, going to be a bit of a shorter race. And I got to say, Fizzy, you kind of pray you don't get a safety car here, because if you got a safety car that's going to take 2-3 laps out of this race, it's not going to leave you with a lot of green flag racing time.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see how it plays out. There is your results. Krusix on a pole, just ahead of Ripson. Sauerbraten in 3rd. Now, I do want to look up that Ripson lap. He was slightly improved through the first sector. He was about the same through the middle. Ooh, it looked like he was about even on his lap, and he wanted to save tire wear. So hard to tell if he made a mistake in the final sector or that final sector time was because he slowed up. Either way, he will start P2. Now, while we load into the actual race lobby, we're going to go ahead and give a little shout out to our sponsors. Thank you to Elgato. Be sure to visit Elgato's website for more information about their amazing stream deck. It is used by streamers all around the world. And go to elgato.com to learn more. Thank you to SIMSOK. Don't just use any socks when driving in your league races or endurance races. Use socks that will give you the competitive edge. With SIMSOK's gripping technology, you will eliminate any issues where your feet might slip off the gas or brake, giving you the competitive edge over your rivals. Be sure to check them out at simsok.com today. And last but not least, thank you very much to Driver61. Driver61 is a renowned content creator who you may have seen on YouTube, and it's a brilliant channel for learning more about the science behind racing. However, he also has a coaching staff, and they offer coaching sessions, and you can get 25% off a consultation session plus a free coaching session when you use code AOR Driver61. Learn more today at driver61.com and use code AOR Driver61. Now, I will say about the SIMSOK, backing up to that, I will be getting a pair for Christmas because of what I've been told about them. So now I'm soon going to be able to personally recommend them myself because I was recommended it, and obviously they're a sponsor. And so I will happily be using SIMSOKs to hopefully give myself the competitive edge. Now, as the drivers take strategy, do we think the guys 11th through 14th are on mediums?
I don't know. That's a good question. I would think that they would go for it. I wouldn't mind, and yes, they have actually gone for it. It looks like Darn, Seb, Liors, Patrick, all going for the medium tire. To start, as they've started the formation lap, Crucix leads them away. Surprising, I'm still not over that. It's just such a big shot. Granted, it was less than 4/100ths of a second, Fizzy, but yeah, fantastic lap from him. But yeah, the medium tire is going to be what is selected from Darn down to Patrick, and I don't blame them. You know, it seems that they want to have the speed towards the end of the race and maybe try to do something with the undercut, but we'll see.
Yeah, my question is, if we get an early safety car here today, how will that affect them? Now, people down 11th through 14th, I mean, like I said, you don't really want to go on the hards, but they'd be forced into doing it. But, you know, like a safety car, anytime as we start to get through the halfway point of the race or whatever, softs go to the end. I mean, softs can last really long around here, but I assume the pit window is going to be anywhere between laps 6 and 10. I mean, that's a very wide window, of course, but it all depends on who wants to go for an undercut onto the mediums and off the softs, but the softs do last a while, so strategy will be key. And, you know, like we mentioned, that if there's actually, it will be rain at the end, 11th through 14th on the medium tire. They should be able to get to the rain, so keep an eye on that today.
Absolutely, that's the other thing. Yeah, the rain that could come towards the end of the race if it's heavy enough. If we get it and it's heavy enough, the mediums will just play right into the intermediates, whereas, you know, you're almost making a two-stop race here for all the softs. But interesting to see if we do get that rain. I mean, it was reported that it is a minimal chance of it towards the end of the race, so we may not even get it at all. But we'll see how these drivers do with these soft and medium tires and how the pit strategies will work out with the rain that potentially could come.
Yes, yes. I mean, it's sunny, clear skies right now, but we've seen on previous tracks just how quickly the clouds can roll in on this game, so we'll have to wait and see. Drivers forming up on the grid, last but not least, Patrick at the back. I'm going to be watching out for that Williams pair. We know they're in the Constructors battle, and they don't have any of their rivals, Constructors rivals. No Donahoe, no Failer to deal with, so Williams is looking to take the outright lead of the Constructors Championship today, but they need to get into the points first. So everyone's on the grid. We're going to go ahead and take a look at some of these cars. Wait until we get a better camera angle. There we go. The lights are on. 4 lights, 5 lights. Drivers ready to go, and they are underway here. It looks like a good getaway by Ripson, looking to go around the outside of Crucix before Lasource He's going to hold it around the outside. They don't make any contact, but Ripson gets a little bit of rear wheel spin. Sounds like there's a little bit of wheel bang in the background. Sauerbraten, though, getting some slipstream by Krusix, but he's going to have to back out to let his teammate in. These guys are single file, nothing between them, going up Rouge and Radion. Now, Ripson, all of these guys definitely using their battery power. Ripson ducks to the right-hand side of the track. They're side by side. Krusix, Ripson, who's going to be braver on the brakes into the cones? Krusix has the inside line. Ripson goes very deep. They leave each other the space, and Krusix hangs ahead and Galaxy's into the wall.
So unfortunate for Galaxy. He's in, he's out, and we got a virtual safety car. It wouldn't surprise me if this goes to a full safety car, but it is a virtual safety car. Krusix did so well to keep it just absolutely hung on in there, and he really had to fight hard to maintain that lead, and he's done just that. And he now leads the two Alfa Romeos away, as we should be getting back to green flag racing very soon. The car's already off the track.
Yes, Kev Genetics cheering on his teammate Sev. Kev could not make it because he is still on vacation, so we definitely missed you here, Kev. You would have been, I'm sure, would have given plenty of action here. But now, as we still under the VSC conditions, biggest mover so far, Tudor up 2 positions into 8th, Leor's up into 11th. Up 2 positions as well. Armate losing out to Gelbevand, so not a good start by the Red Bull tandem as they begin to accelerate the Blanchimont. Question is, how long will the VSA stay out for? Gelbevand looking very racy behind Sauerbraten, though, so green flag racing. Here we go, no penalties. Now, into the bus stop chicane. Sauerbraten goes a little too deep. That's going to open the door for Gelbevand. Gelbevand looking for the switchback on exit. Behind him, F1 Racer goes right around the outside, which becomes the inside of Armate. And Racer up into 5th. But Armate's looking like he's going to go up the inside. No, he backs out of it at the last second. Ooh, Polkus going for a very late move on Tudor, but he's not going to make it work there. Now back up at the front. Krusix still up front. He's got a half a second lead. He should not be under threat from Ripson this time around. DRS not enabled and should be enabled next lap because safety car came in before they crossed the line. We'll keep an eye on that.
Gotta watch Tudor here. He's got a big slipstream. He's trying to go down towards the outside of the Mercedes. He's got a Red Bull in front of him, though, so he does manage to make the move stick, though. Nice pass from Tudor. He's up to 7.
Tudor on the charge right now. The Romanian up 3 positions. Now looking to pressure Armate up into 6. So we'll keep an eye on the Haas driver as he makes his way through the field. Armate looking not as strong as he did in qualifying, but we'll have to wait and see if it was a miracle lap or if he does have race pace to go with it. He's still in DRS range of F1 Racer, who is struggling up ahead to keep up in Gelbevand's DRS. DRS is huge around here, but all of the field right now within range, so next time around, they should all get DRS down the Kemmel Straight, barring Krusix, who's up ahead.
Just look at the pace of the slipstream, though. Like Tudor, mind you, he used it against Rivershawn, right? He's already put 4/10 between him and Rivershawn, and he's right on the gearbox. He was somewhere like 2/10 just before they got into these final 2 turns and out of Stablo. Now he's going to look to have it all the way down to the bus stop chicane. So Tudor just absolutely pinning himself to the back of these gearboxes, using the slipstream to get very close. He might want to have a look, but he think he's going to run out of track, though. I mean, you got to think that he's going to fancy it going up.
Armate went defensive, though. That definitely hurt his run through the bus stop chicane. Tudor all over the back of the Red Bull driver. Nothing in between them. F1 Racer had to use a lot of battery to keep DRS up in front, but Tudor trying to go around the outside into La Source. Not the best corner to go around the outside of. However, he's looking to use his DRS to get down. No, he's going to go for the move before Rouge and Radion. Tudor gets it on the exit. He's up into 6th place, but does he get DRS up the Kemmel Straight? Did he just cost himself his position? Tudor does not have DRS. He's going to be defenseless against Armate. Up at the front, Ripson is our new race leader, making the move on Krusix. Armate, meanwhile, re-overtakes Tudor. So Tudor, unfortunately, lost DRS before he got to the detection point. And as a result, he's back down into 7th. Armate holds on to 6th. But Ripson is our new race leader, took advantage of the DRS. He's cleared Krusix, and he's looking to pull away. But you saw just how fast how fast the DRS is versus no DRS. So it's gonna be huge. Can Ripson hang on? It's gonna be hard to pull away even. He's gonna need Sauerbraten to pressure Krusix, but Krusix maybe struggling a little bit. I mean, I wouldn't say he's struggling. I mean, he's only a half a second behind Ripson, but he's got Sauerbraten really, really close. And in the background, F1 Racer flirting out in and out of DRS range of his teammate. Arme at the same time, he's trying to get DRS on F1 Racers, trying to get DRS on his teammate up ahead. So everyone scrambling, doing what they can to get DRS. This could give Tudor the neat thing he looks for into the source, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, we'll take a look at this battle for 6, because we also have Rivershan still in 8th place right there with them. You know, pressuring on. And none of the medium tire runners have cleared a soft tire runner, but I don't think they're trying to do that this early on with the pace advantage that the soft tire runners have. Armate, though, losing a lot of time to F1 Racer down the front straight into La Source now. It's going to definitely put him under pressure from Tudor, who should make the nice, easy overtake before Lay comes.
Yeah, really, like you said, with the medium compound tire runners, like they're just waiting for these softs to fall away from them a little bit. DRS down the straight.
Ooh, look at Sauerbraten.
Yeah, he's trying to make a move on Krusix, but Krusix goes a little bit defensive. He's right on that gearbox of Rips. He's not going to be able to get him here, but he's going to have to try and pin him through this second sector. Seems to be where Krusix losing a little bit of time here.
So it looked like at the start of looking at the deltas, Krusix was not looking to make an overtake or use any battery down the straight. Sauerbraten started burning the overtake, got within 0.2 of a second of Krusix. Krusix was forced to use overtake and close in on Ripson. So the Alfa Romeo driver is currently sandwiching the Alfa Tauri driver right now. Now, fastest lap of the race belongs to Krusix. At the moment, if Ripson could take fastest lap of the race and win the race, he would be the new championship leader. However, that'll be a tall order considering Darn through Seb all will be on soft rubber later, so they will definitely have a better chance of getting that fastest lap, considering the pace that we know at least Darn and Patrick has shown over the past few Grand Prix.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Oh, Seb! Seb lost the rear end. That's a full safety car. So this is huge. Now everyone on the soft should pit for mediums at this stage. They got to be careful though. They don't want to get thrown onto the hard tire. But if you're on the mediums, do you stay out? Do you pit? You know, they're going to lose a lot of time. But Seb, unfortunately, I just jinxed everyone into the pits. We're going to keep an eye on Patrick, Darn, and Liors. Do they stay out? Do they go in? They're all into the pits. So they will. This last 3 will certainly be on hard tires. I don't think the softs will go to the end here. But we're going to keep an eye on the likes of Ripson and Krusix and Sauerbraten in the front. Ripson onto softs. Sauerbraten's going to get held. Krusix on mediums, getting held as well. So he will come out. Now Gelbovan will jump Sauerbraten. Tudor up into 4th because of how much people are getting held in the pits. Sauerbraten got held a lot in the pits. He's going to be down to 7th because of the double stack. So Sauerbraten losing a lot. F1 Racer also losing a ton of time due to his teammate. But Darn, F1 Racer, Patrick all on hards. Liors is on another set of mediums. Huh.
That's an interesting decision. Yeah, that's a very interesting decision. Same with Pulkis, who's gone on to another set of mediums as well. I would have imagined that the medium compound runners even could have maybe not pitted. Like it would have been okay not to pit, I think. But they all come into pit. They all go on to mediums except for Darn, F1 Racer, and Patrick, who've gone on to the hards. So they're going to the end. And we'll have to see if these mediums can last the whole race. I think they can, but I think it'll be. I think they're going to be really struggling for a lot of grip towards the last lap or two. Still, Ripson comes out ahead, but his teammate, like you said, the double stack. I mean, there's only 2 teams here, Fizzy, that I can think of, maybe 3, that have both cars in the running. And that's Williams, Ferrari, and
Alfa Romeo. And Alfa Tauri, so we got 4 teams.
Oh, yes, 4 teams. Yes, Alfa Romeo as well. So you can see those drivers are down towards the bottom of the order, and we'll see if that's going to really become an unrecoverable position. Plenty of time, though. Certainly, the drivers of those skills can come up with and make the overtakes needed.
I'm curious if the safety car stays out one more lap. If I am F1 Racer and Patrick, I pit again for a set of mediums. I would not want to be on the hards versus everyone else. F1 Racer, I don't think intentionally put on the hards, but they got put on nonetheless. And assuming the safety car stays out one more lap, they will definitely catch back up to the field, and you're going to be way faster on the mediums than you would be on the hards. Now, Darn, Patrick, they were forced to go on hards because you have to fulfill your strategy. Liors, meanwhile, staying out in the mediums. Bold move, but they will have to pit again. But if I'm Patrick and I'm F1 Racer, I mean, you have nothing to lose. You got one. If you're F1 Racer, you lose 1 position. if you're and you're losing it to someone on hards. If you're Patrick, you're losing nothing by putting onto a fresh set of mediums. You go to the end, you'll have the pace that equals the front runners, and now the safety car is not in this lap. Who does what? Ripson. Oh, it looked like for a second he was going to throw a dummy going into the pits, but let's look at Patrick and F1 Racer. F1 Racer into the pits, Patrick into the pits. Smart move, makes sense. Put on a set of mediums, go to the end, as I do not believe the softs will go to the end from here.
No, they're not. The softs will not go to the end from here. The mediums just will. So it is going to be more than likely the final lap, by the way, that the safety car is out. As Ripson leads this Grand Prix, Krusix is second. His teammate, though, Ripson's teammate, got beat down in 7th position. That is so unfortunate. I mean, he's had such more pace than these other cars, than Rivershawn, Army, and Tudor. So he cannot be caught fighting these cars for too long. He knows he has the pace to get past these cars and get back up towards the front. The question is, how much fighting is he going to have to do to get there?
I mean, if you're Sauerbraten, you got to be a little happy with how this is played out, because Darn behind you is the only car on a set of hard tires. So you're thinking, all right, it's going to be hard for you to get put under threat, and if you do, you're going to have to clear. You have to clear Darn no matter what. If he decides that he's going to pressure, you got to assume that the cars behind are going to pressure Darn. So if you're Sauerbraten, you're not in a bad situation, but considering he's one of 2 drivers that have won more than 1 race this season, it's a little disappointing to drop all the way down into 7th. But he knew this was coming. You had to pit when he did, because if you stay out behind the safety car, he's down all the way at the back with F1 Racer and Patrick, which is part as why Darn has stayed out on the hards, because track position, you know, it still is key. And as fast as these guys are, you know, if you can hold slipstream towards the end, the last 3 or 4 laps, the hards should be faster than the mediums. But it's gonna be a tall order for Darn to do anything more than barely get points, I think, today, sadly.
And then those hards are going to really struggle in high-speed corners, I think. So places like Pouhon, you know, it's going to be very difficult to really hold the same kind of speed through those corners that these drivers are going to have. And that's, I think Darn's going to be taught that lesson very harshly here towards this race. As the safety car is coming in this lap, Ripson, Krusix, we'll see how they all lead off. You can see Ripson starting to peel away from the safety car, trying to get some heat into those tires. Safety car is coming in this lap, so when does he want to go is going to be the question. I think once you get very close to the bus stop chicane, maybe Blanchard.
He almost
wants to really gas it.
Ripson almost spun there, trying to get some tire heat into the rears. He's going a little quick right now, so once you start accelerating, you can't slow down, but he's not fully accelerating. He's just kind of picking up that average pace. Safety car's into the pits. Ripson is going, and he has got a beautiful launch over Krusix. Behind him, Sauerbraten overtook Rivershawn before they got to the restart. Sauerbraten's going to have to give that place up, otherwise he will receive a post-race penalty, as you cannot overtake before the safety car, or before the start-finish line after a safety car restart. But Ripson already gets a second on Krusix. He's trying to pull away. Tudor trying to pressure Gelbovan for 3rd in the final podium place. So unless Rivershawn went off, I do think Sauerbraten does have a penalty coming his way now, as he did make the overtake before the start-finish line.
Yeah, and what a getaway from Ripson, really. Krusix so late to
Sauerbraten is letting Rivershawn through, though. I mean, that certainly was a lift and coast down the straight to let the Mercedes through. But up front, Tudor going around the outside, which becomes the inside through the bus stop chicane. He's up to 3rd and has cleared Gelbovan with a beautiful move through the bus stop. So while we were watching Sauerbraten give the position back to Rivershawn and yield the advantage he gained, Tudor has taken a podium position away.
Excellent move by Tudor. The Haas has had an absolutely fantastic drive so far. He's up 7 positions from his qualifying place, and he's looking very, very good. So down towards the back, Leors is kind of the closest. Patrick has also got quite a bit of pace. He's right on the tail end of F1 Racer, this Red Bull. He wants to get this move done in the middle sector. That is quite bold, but he is really right on the tail of this Ferrari at the back of the field. So our closest battle is for P11. Patrick is itching to get by. And of course, you got to remember these 2 cars back here, F1 Racer and Patrick, they are on slightly fresher tires by a lap.
Yeah, well, I don't know if that'll be as much of an advantage, but Patrick and Darn, we know they work together very well. Darn has lost DRS to Sauerbraten ahead. We know that the Williams tandem works together a lot as Patrick tries to go up the inside into the bus stop chicane, tries to pull a switchback out of it, makes a little contact with F1 Racer's rear. He will probably not make the move into the source, but he's looking like he's going to try. He's going to do everything he can. He's going to go up the inside of F1 Racer into the source. They're going to go side by side. F1 Racer onto the curb a little bit. Who's going to get the better exit now? Into Eau Rouge Radillon. They're still side by side for 11th position. Battling hard. Patrick backs out. And F1 Racer maintains the position for the time being. But up at the front, Tudor pressuring Krusix, who's having to burn a battery. Tudor trying to go around the outside of Krusix. Krusix goes defensive into Lacombe. Krusix holds on to second place, but Tudor looking mighty quick through so far since the safety car restart, but Patrick did clear F1 Racer down the Hmiel Straight.
This Haas has been eating its Wheaties for breakfast. What an absolute performance from Tudor. Now he's starting to pressure two cars that he was nowhere near in the qualifying pace for. The two cars that were very clear, the two quickest cars on the field, and this Haas wants a piece of them both. And Tudor, we'll see if maybe sometimes you can have your cake and eat it too. That's certainly what he would love to do. Meanwhile, back for the fight for 6th place. I mean, look at how tight Sauerbraten's got to the back of this merge. It is Rivershot trying to hold on to this position, and he is going, they're approaching Steblo right now, and you got to think he could be vulnerable on the run down to the bus stop chicane if this Alfa Romeo can stay pinned. It's very, very tight.
It is. It looks like Sauerbraten's going to try to go for the move. Rivershot using the battery. They're pulling away a little bit in a straight line. But Sauerbraten has shown he's been very quick, very brave on the brakes. He's going to go for the outside move. Come to the inside. Rivershot breaks deeper, though. They both make the apex, but Sauerbraten's got the apex for the exit of the bus stop chicane. They bang wheels, barely leaving enough space for each other. They're neck and neck as they cross the line. Rivershot's going to have the inside line, though, for La Source. They both break very deep. They're still side by side. And it's Sauerbraten doing everything he can. He's trying to get the slipstream from Armade ahead. Rivershot still banging little wheels. It looks like Rivershot might hold the position, but they're going to go side by side. No, Rouge. Oh, no. Can they hang on? They're going to go side by side through Radillon. They bang wheels through Radillon. They're both going to get DRS, though, because of Armade ahead. What's going to Armade do? Is Armade going to go to the right and left? It looks like Sauerbraten has it, and Tudor's into the lead. While we were watching the battle, Tudor made a double overtake down the Hmiel Straight. He got Krusix. He got Ripson. Tudor is the new race leader. Ripson trying to go around the outside through the middle sector, but Tudor is our new race leader. Everything's kicking off here on lap 9.
This is insane. What an absolute battle from Sauerbraten and Rivershot. Absolute, what an insane battle. Almost a half a lap between a battle between those two. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Tudor as well has done fantastic at the front to get into the lead. And I'll tell you what, Sauerbraten, though, keep an eye on him. He's coming charging up. He's got Armade in his sights, of course, and Armade's going to be pretty defenseless because he's almost 2 seconds off the pace of Gelbewand in front. So this Alfa Romeo of Sauerbraten is not done yet.
It looks like, I don't know, if I'm Jan Fehler and I'm watching this, I'm cheering on Tudor right now, because right now, Fehler maintains the championship lead. He does not have threat from Ripson, because Ripson will be 7 points behind. But in the background, Patrick's going to pass Darn, teammates yielding to each other. But now, question is, Tudor is ahead. He's looking very quick on the medium tires. Gelbewand, though, has been reeled back in. So, unfortunately, I wish we could hit a replay button and see that overtake that he made to take the race lead.
That wasn't a good exit, by the way, the bus stop chicane from Sauerbraten.
Sauerbraten, though, he's down in 6. Armade 2.2 seconds to Gelbewand up ahead. So we'll keep an eye on that battle. But let's also keep an eye on the battle for the lead. Let's ride on board with Gelbewand. He's the 4th car in this 4-car train. About half a second between each of the 4 cars. Will anyone go for a move down this Hmiel Straight? I think we're going to have to actually watch Ripson. Ripson's camera's not giving. Tudor's out of battery, though. Ripson still has 41%, but Tudor's blinking his light. So he's out of battery as Sauerbraten makes the move on Armade well before Blake Collins, and now Sauerbraten can get on the charge to catch up to the front 4.
Absolutely easy as you like on that overtake. It was just DRS all the way. You also got Patrick, who wants a piece of that other AlphaTauri, by the way. Pulfkas is in 8th place. Darn, by the way, he is trying to fight off Liors in the medium compound tire, but that has almost put him a second outside his teammate Patrick, who would lose DRS. Rivershot, by the way, he's made the move around Armade. Nicely done. Armade has just been swallowed up by 2 cars here, and like you said, Sauerbraten's going to have to go for the charge. The gap at the start was about 2.3, down to seconds flat.
Yes, and he's probably hoping, he's probably telling Ripson, radioing in, saying, hey, can you make a little bit of a battle up at the front? A little bit of battling would reel Sauerbraten right back in. Rivershan, though, trying to stick with the airborne driver up ahead, so that's going to be huge. Meanwhile, at the back, F1 Racer has not made up any positions, while Patrick up in 9th. Now, Patrick has a 3-second time penalty, and he's looking to really pressure Polkus, possibly go for a move into the bus stop chicane. We've seen him do it before. Will he do it again? Polkus going defensive. Patrick backs out of it, but he's a lot later on the brakes than the AlphaTauri up ahead.
Yeah, Patrick's really setting up this move very nicely. Ooh, big fastest lap from Sauerbraten as well. He has been on an absolute charge. And remember, oh, it's inside of the source, by the way, for Patrick. And he just wasn't really given a ton of space. He had to take a ton of that curb, so he's going to remain behind the AlphaTauri. He's going to go side by side. The AlphaTauri.
Look at the front, though.
Defending.
There's 3 tenths between the front 3. Are they going to go 3 right down the Kimmel straight? Tudor's going to get swallowed up. Ripson has the lead. Krusix, though, is going to stay behind Ripson as Ripson retakes the race lead. Krusix second, Tudor down to 3rd. Struggling, could not hold on to the lead due to his lack of battery. Meanwhile, Patrick has cleared Polkus, but now has to clear Armate up ahead. But once again, Ripson, the new race leader. Sauerbraten now 1.7, 1.8 behind Gelbevand. So
good call on that lead change, by the way. Very nicely done. But you got to think that these 3 aren't done. You got to think Tudor's going to fancy his chances to come back at these 2.
I mean, I'm looking at this. If I'm Tudor, he was low on battery when he made the overtake for the lead. He was almost out of battery. Just sit back and just charge your battery. Let someone else pull the train. We're not even halfway through the race. We will, when we cross the line, be at the halfway point. I would just sit back, charge the battery, let other people pull you along, let your rivals use their battery, and then go for a move. However, he's got Gelbvan behind, and look at Sauerbraten, 1.3. So we have a nice little DRS train up at the front. F1 Racer, meanwhile, making the move on Darn well before Blanchimont. I mean, not the normal place you'd expect an overtake, but Darn probably struggling, like you mentioned, on the hard tires through the fast corners, giving F1 Racer a door to go through.
Absolutely. Darn, it's just an unfortunate scenario for Darn. I mean, really, he was going to have to either give the track position up early or try to hold on for the hards. He chose the later, and pretty much about the same result. He's only got Leors behind him. Meanwhile, you've got Gelbvan, like you said, for Goatrip. He's really trying to press Tudor as well. Tudor
Look
is
up
just
ahead,
not
though.
using a ton of his battery, though, by the way.
Krusix going around the outside on the Kimmel straight. He uses the DRS to clear Ripson. Tudor, though, going up the inside of Ripson, trying to take second place away. He's going to have to back out of it at the last second. But sorry to cut you off there, but Krusix made the overtake for the lead. Tudor used his battery and DRS to fend off Gelbevand. But Krusix is now our race leader. And crucially, these guys have pulled away from Sauerbraten. So Sauerbraten needs to get in DRS range because every time these guys make the overtake, they're not battling through Lecombs or anywhere else. So he loses time without having DRS. And then these guys, they don't battle. As Darn also picks up a 3-second time penalty. That's kind of going to ruin his day. But F1 Racer was side by side with Polkus going into Puan. He's going to back out of it. Polkus, meanwhile, hangs onto the position. Both drivers losing a lot of time to the drivers up ahead as F1 Racer goes very deep.
Keep an eye on that gap from Krusix, by the way. He's got 8 tenths now between him and Ripson. He's really trying to pull away, and this is probably the best opportunity. One of these leaders in front has had to pull away. It's now up to 9 tenths, so no DRS until you get down to it's that little front straight between the bus stop and the source. And he is almost a second ahead. He now is. They haven't reached the detections, or I believe they have gone through the detection zone, so they should have DRS, but nonetheless, Krusix could be able to put the pace in front.
Ripson doesn't have DRS. Ripson does not have DRS. Also, Krusix, crucially, he had 52% battery at the end of that lap. Ripson down at 42, you're at 32. Gelbevand at 79. Do not count out the Ferrari driver, but Krusix, crucially, he broke DRS of Ripson. Ripson using all of his battery. He's trying to catch up. He knows that he has to get DRS if he wants to have a shot at winning this race. You cannot lose DRS to the race leader, and Krusix has played this beautifully.
And look who's almost within a second, by the way, of the front 4. It's Sauerbraten. He's been knocking on the door. We were talking about him chasing him down. And here he is. He's gotten almost within a second. So Sauerbraten on the charge as well. Krusix is pulling out. That is a big 3-second time penalty for Gelbvan, by the way. That is huge. That's going to bring Rivershan and Sauerbraten into the equation. Although I believe actually right now just is Sauerbraten still, gonna have to manage the penalties as well. We still have almost half this race to go. We're just into the second part of it, as Patrick has fought his way up to P7, and he is going to start looking at Rivershot as well. So Patrick, despite the fact he's got a 3-second time penalty, he could be looking to make some more moves on track to get himself up to a better position. Right now, almost outside that 3 seconds from F1 Racer in 9th.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on the penalty situation. We have yellow flag through sector 2. Polkus has retired. It looks like he went into the wall. That is a full safety car, folks. It's a full safety car. It's going to eliminate all this advantage. Everyone certainly will have to pit for softs. I don't think you stay out and try to risk it, because you're just going to get swallowed up. But that is a full safety car due to the AlphaTauri retirement. Krusix into the pits, Ripson into the pits, everyone into the pits. If you stay out at this point, you are Sauerbraten, I guess. I was going to say, definitely not the move to stay out, but Sauerbraten will stay out and try to take his mediums to the end. I mean, they will go to the end, but against a fresh set of softs, our mate stays out too, right?
Yeah, and he almost put it in the wall.
Oh, geez. So, Sauerbraten going for his third race win of the season. He's going to have our mate to help him defend. If he can just pull away from our mate, break DRS quickly, he'll be good. But if you're Sauerbraten, you probably wanted a couple more people behind you to not pit. But because he stayed out, which, I mean, he, like you mentioned before, only Alfa Romeo now, AlphaTauri had their driver retire. Williams and Ferrari have both their drivers still remaining. So, you know, he would have gotten held in the pits. But is it worth staying out on a set of mediums with this many laps to go?
You would understand it for Army, right? You would understand it for him because you gain a track position and you're taking the gamble, right? That
I don't know about Army. He doesn't have a teammate.
Here's the thing. But here's the thing. You're right, but the point is you take the gamble, then say, okay, I'm running what, 6th or whatever, right? I'm running, so I'm going to run up to 2nd. So now I've gained 4 positions. Can I hold on to 4 positions between now and the end of the race? That's the gamble that you take if you're Army, right? Or if you're down the field, right? I'm going to say no, but
yeah.
I think the point, that's the logic if you were further down the field. I mean, certainly if you were in 8th or 9th, you would say, okay, that, you know, maybe I could make this work. But still, I'll tell you who it's really going to love, who's got to be loving this Darn. He's bailed out of the situation he was in. It was looking like a race that potentially maybe he wasn't going to score points in, and now he's going to be able to have a go at some of these drivers. You got to fancy historically throughout the first 7 rounds of this championship that he's going to have the pace to take some of these guys on too. Although he does have a 3-second time penalty.
Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on the penalty delta for us. I think when it comes to the R-Mate and Sauerbraten situation, it's reversed with the logic. Where if you're R-Mate, I think he was running like 6th or 7th before the safety car. And he's not going to get held in the pits. So I think you come into the pits because he's currently the first punching bag that everyone on the fresh set of sauce versus 8 lap 1 mediums is going to beat up on. He's going to get swallowed up really, really quickly. Now, if you're Sauerbraten, he's going to get held in the pits. He was running down in 5th or 6th, but because he was going to get held in the pits, he probably would be down by Patrick and Liors. So it makes sense that you stay out because he's kind of like, you know what? I'm going to lose way more positions if I pit. Might as well go for the risk. But if you're R-Mate, I don't know. But, no, they committed. So we'll see what happens. Safety car will probably be in this next lap. So they'll have
7.
Yes, 7 laps.
No, I agree with your logic. I'm not saying your logic's wrong. I'm just saying if, and like I said with R-Mate, right? Like from 6th position, I don't know. But if R-Mate was running 10th and he decided to stay out because you
yes, 100% stay out.
Yeah.
Like if you're F1 racer or Liors, all right, and you're, I mean, darn, you don't stay out because he's on the horse. So I mean, that's just you're asking just to have your life just ruined. But if you're F1 racer, Liors, if he doesn't have a penalty, maybe. You're all the way down, you know, flirting for points. I do think you maybe go for the gamble and you stay out. But if you're in R-Mate's position, I wouldn't agree on that. But if he makes it work, I will happily eat my words. Because you do have to look. Gelbaman, Patrick, Liors, Darn, all 3-second time penalties. Now, they're farther down the order. But you take that logic and you throw it in with any of these other guys around him. They get a 3-second time penalty and he just stays within 3 seconds. It is a free position. So it's a gamble that either he's going to pull it off, like you said, it's going to work very nicely, or it's not. But he knows that in qualifying, he had his best starting position of this season. He's got a chance to get his best result of the season. So it makes sense that he's got to at least try to get it. And Armate trying to do everything he can to maybe even try to win this race, though that may be unlikely with Krusix behind.
Yeah, I don't think with the pace that we've seen from Krusix, Ripson, even Tudor, and Galvan, that's going to be likely. We'll see. Sauerbraten is going to have to do a lot of fighting as well. He's hoping, you know, like you said, that maybe more cars behind him were staying out, because then it's a lot of fighting that those cars are going to have to do. It would feed into Sauerbraten's plan, but now you got to think it's only a matter of time, especially with these soft tires. So, safety car in this lap. We'll see how it goes. I want to keep an eye on Darn as well, just in the standings, because I think he's got the pace. I think he's a fantastic driver, and he's going to be hungry for points. But yeah, Patrick, by the way, coming out in P8, he's had quite a lot of speed. He also could be making some waves, although this safety car is not going to help his 3-second time penalty still. Nonetheless, we'll see how they do. It is Sauerbraten to lead the field away, trying to get some heat into the tires. Same with Armate. And it's going to be, when do they decide to go is the question. When do you pull the trigger? They are at the detection zone now. They're almost in towards the bus stop chicane. I think he's just going to try and gas it on the exit of the bus stop chicane here.
Yeah, it's looking like it. No, he doesn't. Not fully. Not fully. And there he goes. Sauerbraten is away, but he just left Armate out to dry. Probably helping his teammate Ripson there. Ripson, it's 3 wide into the source. Oh, they make contact! They're all into the wall! Armate is out of the race. Krusix and Ripson certainly have wing damage. Oh, man, that was horrible. Heartbreak. Krusix has no front wing. Ripson looks like he came off unscathed. Looks like he's actually got a lot of right side bodywork damage. Oh, that is horrible. Ripson picks up a 3-second time penalty for his troubles. That puts Gelbavan and Tudor with a shot of winning this race. Gelbavan trying to go up the inside of Tudor into the combs. Tudor puts the squeeze on Gelbavan as Gelbavan backs out of it. But, oh, wow.
Baylor said, I'm going to watch the race tomorrow. I'm going to bed. God, he's got a treat to wake up to, doesn't he? Tudor is in second place. He's got a fanciest chances. There's one medium compound tire runner left, and that's Sauerbraten at the front. He's going to have to defend for his absolute life now.
Well, you know what's crazy? Rivershan has a chance at a podium now. Rivershan. Oh, and it's a safety car. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Huh. Let's mentally back up. Now, I put a poll up who's going to win this race. It was Sauerbraten, who I misspelled. Apologies. Ripson, Krusix, other. Right now, the votes are Ripson and other.
Yeah, I voted other because,
well,
I'll tell you something. My money's on Go Tudor because he's got the pace, although this is a huge bailout for Sauerbraten. The question is, are these other cars going to pit? If you got do you pit for fresh or softs? I don't think you do.
No, the only one. I don't think if you don't have to pit, you don't pit at this point. Armate's got to be fuming because that's heartbreak. I'm trying to look at Ripson's car to see what kind of damage he has. He looks unscathed. He might have like floor damage or bodywork damage, but I mean, if we could get one of you guys, airborne guys in the chat who may know more about Ripson's situation, does he have any type of damage? Because I'm not seeing anything, but I wouldn't be surprised because that was just a huge collision, and he got very lucky to survive that, unlike Krusix and Armate. Now, on that restart, it looked like Krusix went to the outside, Ripson went for the middle, and then Armate just moved over. I don't think he realized, I think he misjudged how much space he had to work with, and as a result, he collected both Krusix and Ripson. Now, this does help Krusix, though. Krusix is not out of it for a good finish. He doesn't have a penalty. He's going to catch right back up to the field, change his wing, get on a fresh set of softs, which is not going to be too much of a difference because they will be quality worn at this point. But Krusix, you know, with 5 drivers ahead with a 3-second time penalty, he could still get a top 5. It's not out of the question.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. That's a very good point. But the question is, Ripson, he wants the championship lead, man. He wants to be at the top. And the question is he going to, what can he do from this position? He's running P6. He's got a penalty.
He looks like he has right side damage on his floor a little bit. Hard to tell. Apparently minor damage somewhere. So probably on his floor if I had a guess. Because it looks like his floor, I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm assuming his bodywork looks okay, wing looks okay, but his floor looks like it's got scuff marks on it.
I haven't been able to see the car just yet, so I'll let you know what I can see.
Okay. Now, I do have another question for you. What's the What's the warning situation for Sauerbraten, Tudor, and Rivershawn? They're the 3 drivers in the top 7 without a penalty. And right now, I mean, they're going to get a podium.
I'm sorry, you want Sauerbraten?
Tudor, and Rivershawn, the 3 drivers in the top 7 who do not have a penalty, which, by the way, if one of them pick up a penalty, F1 racer in 8th place who does not have a penalty could get a podium. So
Sauerbraten's on 2 track extension limits. Who else?
Tudor?
Tudor is on 1.
Okay, and Rivershawn, who's down in 4th position.
Rivershawn is on, looks like, Rivershawn's on 2. He got a second in lap 16, so it's just Tudor who's got 1. The other 2 have 2 extension warnings.
Interesting. So that's important to remember. Now the safety car will go in next lap by the looks of things. I do not believe it will go in this lap because it is way too late, but it should go in next lap. That'll give us 4 laps of racing. Now, if you're Sauerbraten, this is huge. I mean, yeah, he lost his, not his gunner, but who essentially was his gunner in the R-Mate to help defend. Because, you know, while R-Mate was trying to defend for his life, Sauerbraten had a chance to break away. But at the same time, this helps Sauerbraten because it gives him extra time, or it gives it less laps for him to get overtaken by the soft runners.
He's only going to have to race for 4. He's only going to have to race for 4 laps. So it is a big help to Sauerbraten. However, in your poll, by the way, somebody's voted for Ripson, P6, and 2 people have voted for Sauerbraten and P1 right now. And
yes.
I do love all the people that do watch us, but I do not need to. I have to be the bearer of bad news, unfortunately. I don't think that's going to happen.
I think Sauerbraten wins if penalties get picked up behind by Tudor and Rivershawn. Now, Tudor, we saw him get put under immediate pressure by Gelbevand. Gelbevand has a 3-second time penalty. If he could clear, if he can get around Tudor and then be the first car to clear Sauerbraten, and Sauerbraten, you know, he's going to put up a defense because he wants to hold on to the position. The first car to clear Sauerbraten, the goal is to break DRS immediately and try to run away. Now, if you're Gelbevand, you have the penalty, and you see Tudor and Sauerbraten do not have a penalty. If you can clear Sauerbraten before Tudor, you have a shot on raw pace to potentially get 3 seconds. Now, is it possible? Or is it likely? No, it's unlikely, but it's possible because he wouldn't lose out then to Rivershawn, most likely, and he certainly wouldn't lose out to F1 racers. So there is a lot to play for, even with the penalties. And as you can see in the tire situation, before we go back to the penalty data, right now we have 12-lap-old mediums in Sauerbraten, who's going to be struggling. 3-lap-old softs, where it's basically been 1 lap of green flag running, and everything else has been safety car softs. So not much going on through them. And then Kruzik's on fresh softs at the back because he had the wing change.
Absolutely. So we'll see how they fare. Safety car should be coming in this lap. So I'm waiting for the message to appear. It should appear momentarily. And
there it is.
Race control have confirmed safety car is coming in this lap. We've got 4 laps of green flag racing left. Rivershawn and Tudor, no penalties for them, like you said, but Rivershawn on 2 warnings, Sauerbraten on 2 warnings, Tudor's on a single warning. You've got to like the Haas's chances, certainly, here.
I mean, I'm looking at it, and I'm going, as much as I'm liking the situation for Sauerbraten, Tudor, and Rivershawn, I wouldn't mind if all of them, no, I'll knock on wood, but I wouldn't mind if they all got penalties, and then it's just a straight blitz. Who can win the race off of just raw pace? But then again,
knocking on wood for you, by the way.
Yes, so we'll have to see now. Sauerbraten coming to the bus stop chicane. He's probably going to do something like he did last time around. Wait until the last second to go. That or blast out of the bus stop chicane. Here he goes. He's looking like he's putting the power down. He does put the power down. Sauerbraten is away we go, but he's not really able to pull away. He gets a little squirmy on the exit of the bus stop chicane. And Tudor gets a much better start than Gelbevand. And as a result, Tudor's going to probably look for the move before the end of the Hmiel straight. He's going to use the slipstream and use the battery. He does not have DRS. We won't have DRS until the penultimate lap of the race. So that is key to look at. That will help Sauerbraten's defense. But now, on the run down the Hmiel straight, it's just going to be all raw straight line speed. Tudor in the slipstream of Sauerbraten, trying to get his first race win of the season. They're going to go side by side into Les Combes. Tudor will have the tire advantage. They're bumping wheels, though. Sauerbraten on the inside for the second part of it, but then Tudor has the inside for Melmedy, and Tudor takes the lead of the race, and Rivershawn picks up a penalty. That is heartbreak if you are the Mercedes driver, but that is huge news if you are the Ferrari team in the likes of not only Gelbevand, but F1 racer in the back. So Tudor is away and looking to run away with this race victory.
Yeah, Tudor looking really good. A little bit more battery on the run down to Pouhon and out of Pouhon for Sauerbrot, using a ton of batteries. Only got about a quarter as Gelbawand's picked up a 3-second time penalty. So this brings Sauerbrot in for a podium, and he's looking really, really good. Is he keep it clean?
I don't think Sauerbrot, with how many few laps are left, is going to necessarily lose the podium due to the penalty situation. But Gelbawand's about to be the biggest loser. He's about to get a ton of penalties. Now, if he can get one warning removed, different story. But as he's trying to go around the outside of Blanchimont, Sauerbrot's already out of battery deployment for this lap. And he's out of DRS range of Tudor, which doesn't matter for this next lap. But Gelbawand going to try to outbrake the Alfa Romeo into the bus stop chicane. He does do that, and he does have the position. Now he needs to gap the cars behind to have any chance of a decent points-paying position, because he's the only car with 6 seconds of time penalties.
Yeah, that is huge as well for him. So Patrick, by the way, he's up to P5. He is really looking to make a charge through the field. Maybe he could be a late podium contender as well. We'll have to see. It depends on if Sauerbrot can keep it clean. But nonetheless, it is Tudor pulling away. Now Rivershawn, by the way, he's getting hungry for this third position on the track. He might make a move here towards the inside of the Alfa Romeo. He goes down towards the chicane, and they bang wheels again. It looks like, but the Alfa Romeo just sticking it in there, but the soft tires, too much grip. And Rivershawn is through. The Alfa Romeo trying to get the position back. He's looking to stick a nose in here. He's got to defend from the Williams. That's more a move to try and put off this Williams from making a move around Brussels. Interesting place to try and make an overtake, but it's going to be Sauerbrot in front. Darn with another penalty. He's at the back of the field. No issue there, as Krusik's made the pass on him, by the way. So Krusik's up to 9th after the accident. He's pressuring F1 Racer as well, by the way. They are very close towards the back.
Look at right now Gelbawand's gap to Rivershawn, 1.8 seconds. Gelbawand doing everything he can to possibly stand on this podium. Sauerbrot, meanwhile, is a punching bag, like I said. One car getting through at a time. Patrick, meanwhile, he's next up on this list of gobbling up the Alfa Romeo driver, unfortunately, for Sauerbrot. But Patrick trying to go around the outside into Blanchimont. He's going to go side by side. They're going to bang wheel Sauerbrot, doing everything he can to hold on to the positions, but he just does not have the grip. He does not have the pace on those medium tires. So one thing I was going to bring up in the safety cars, Sauerbrot actually outbreaks Patrick, who goes for the switchback. Oh, he's round! Patrick is round. Looks like he lost it on throttle. I don't think there was any rear contact or anything, and Patrick gets heartbreak and is down into 10th. Meanwhile, Liors sent it absolutely up the inside of Ripson. He's going to lose out a ton of positions. F1 Racer now up into 6th place, trying to hang on and hold off Liors. They're going to go side by side through Eau Rouge and Radion. Liors goes very wide. F1 Racer backs out of it. Krusik's, though, is going to go for the move on the Ferrari driver, and he is through. Krusik's not done yet as he tries to salvage some points. Ripson, meanwhile, is through on his teammate. As Krusik's, him and F1 Racer are both battling Sauerbrot for position.
Yeah, Aston Martin bumped into the back of Sauerbrot. Up again! There's a lot of contact with that Aston Martin between both the AlphaTauri and the Alfa Romeo, and that has put Liors back down to 7th. Krusik's, meanwhile, he is not bothered. He has pushed himself up into 5th position as Liors drops another place now down to P8.
Sauerbrot in 6th. Krusik, Sauerbrot, and F1 Racer. All of them. That is right now. They don't have penalties. Tudor leading the way. Now, what I was going to bring up before Patrick spun, look at the cloud cover. If we would have had just a little bit more time out of the safety car, we might have actually had the rain come into play. But Tudor right now with a sector and a lap to go, it's looked like he has this race in hand. He could even get a penalty at this point, and he would still win the race, just with how far he has to Krusik's behind.
Yeah, you might want to get it on track, though. We'll see if this Ferrari can kind of shake him a little bit, because Gelbawand has done very well to put him under pressure. He's got to keep a cool head. They are going to cross the line now for the final lap of the race. As really, I don't think the action's done just yet here from Spa.
No, it definitely is not. Gelbawand's doing everything he can. Tudor trying to get all the points right now. He's got the fastest lap, and he's looking to get the win on the race. Gelbawand, meanwhile, is trying to get 3 seconds on Rivershawn. He's got 3 seconds on Ripson, but he's going to need 6 seconds on Krusik. So Gelbawand's going to shuffle. We have Sauerbrot way off the track through La Source in turn 1. I don't think I saw rain, but I could be seeing things. Meanwhile, Tudor under a lot of pressure from Gelbawand. Gelbawand's out of battery, but he has DRS advantage. They're both out of battery, and Gelbawand is through. Tudor, though, he realizes that he has the time penalties to get through, and Krusik is through on Ripson. Down the Kemmel straight. Krusik currently coming back and recovering for a podium position. Because right now he just has to stay within 3 seconds and he will deny Rivershan. Rivershan's first podium. Meanwhile, Gellivan trying to clear Rivershan, get the 3 seconds on him. So I think Krusix can still get second.
Yeah. Krusix
Wow.
could probably still get second place here. And by the way, F1 Racer did very well to fight off Sauerbraten because Sauerbraten ran wide there, but he got the DRS. He ran wide, but then hit the detection zone behind F1 Racer, and F1 Racer didn't use a ton of battery down the Hmiel straight to stay in front, so very good racing from F1 Racer there, as nonetheless Gelbawan now leading the field away, trying to put the space between him and the rest of the field, just get the gap as high up as possible, because remember, he has the 6 seconds worth of time penalties.
That is right, but we're going to go ahead and look at the car behind. That is Goat Tudor. Tudor, if you recall back in Azerbaijan, had a chance at winning it and stealing the race from Failer, but he spun. But now here, out of the bus stop chicane, he does not spin like previously, and Tudor wins here at Spa. Gelbavan comes home first on track, but will he get a podium? Krusix steals the fastest lap, will get second. Gelbavan does get the podium. So Gelbavan does pip Rivershan and F1 Racer out. He will finish in third place. Rivershan comes home with the season best fourth. F1 Racer recovers to fifth. And wow, what an end to the race.
Finished, I'm sorry, Ripson finished sixth. Sauerbraten finishing seventh, I believe, as well. So, what a drive from Tudor, though. He's the games driver of the day. And Fizzymon, I gotta say, he's got to be my driver of the day. He started so far back in the field, and he's come home to win at one of the most legendary tracks. He has got to be absolutely chuffed to bits at having won here at Spa.
He's got to be definitely thrilled. I mean, I know I talked to him actually the other day and I asked, hey, how do you feel about Spa? Do you think you could win it? As kind of like a joke. And he said, you know, I'm going to try to. And he did. So congratulations to Tudor. But also Krusix. Coming home and recovering, he looked like the favorite to win the race early on. You know, he was holding off Tudor, he's holding off Ripson, but then they had that huge crash in turn number 1. And it looked like race was ruined, but the safety car came out. He was able to catch back up to the field, and Krusix came home in second place, got the fastest lap of the race. Now I'm going to go ahead real fast, get the race director for anyone who needs this for a penalty.
Yeah, it's Sauerbraten 6, by the way. Ripson 7th, apologies. Patrick finishing 8th, Lior's 9th, and Darn finishing 10th. Tough race for Darn, really, but he does finish in the points. Our mate, the first of the people that didn't finish, he's in 11th. Pukas is in 12th, and then of course it's the last two that crashed out. I believe it was Field Racing, Seb in 13th, and then whoever was the first driver. It was so long ago. There was so much action. I can't remember who it was.
Galaxy.
I think it was Galaxy who finished as 14th. So
yeah, poor Galaxy.
Look, absolutely fantastic race there, Fizzy. One of the races of the season. Monaco brought us. Actually, I can't believe I'm about to say this. Monaco brought us quite a bit of action. There were some really, really good overtakes at Monaco, as well,
Agreed.
which is a very, very rare thing to say. But this, for me, has had to be one of the races of the season. Absolutely fantastic here tonight.
Yes, and I think we go ahead and bring in our race winner. Tudor, you finally stand at the top, on the top step of the podium. A fantastic drive. You were definitely our driver of the day, from 10th to 1st. Congratulations. How are you feeling after that race?
Oh my God, I'm speechless. Wow. Earlier today, Hamilton, then me now. Wow. I don't know. I think I also had a bit of luck with the incident that into turn 1, the triple crash. But yeah, all in all, I think I had such a good pace. I mean, I was so fast on the straights. I made some adjustments to the setup for the race, and it really paid off. It really paid off on the straights.
Yeah.
What's it? Sorry, God.
Now you go, Benny.
I was gonna say, what's it like having to early on in the race, in that first half of the race, when you're doing double overtakes down the Hmiel straight and you're fighting 2 cars for the lead? What's it like to kind of keep your composure? Because when you have that much intensity going into those kind of corners with multiple cars, it's, you know, any slip up from the 3 of you, like we saw later on in the race going down to La Source after the safety car restart. You know, and you could end the race. So how do you keep your composure when you're fighting 2 other cars for the race lead?
I mean, you just have to think into the bigger perspective. It's a long race, and you don't win it in a single corner. So once I did that double overtake into Lacombe for the lead, I was running out of battery, so I knew I couldn't keep the cars behind. So when it came the time to the drivers behind to get past me, I just let them go because I knew it didn't make sense fighting for those positions at the time because I knew I had to play the long game. So yeah, yeah.
It definitely was a fantastic drive. Now, it was, there were some close calls, like when you were running out of battery, and then Gelban at the end. A lot of the battles you had were really neck and neck. Was there any time when you were getting overtaken, or when you were doing an overtake, when you felt, oh goodness, the race is about to end for me, because just how the setup is with how unstable it is? Did you ever feel like you were ever at risk of just losing control of the car, or did you always feel very confident in your setup, very confident in yourself, and that you could push everywhere today? Talk us through that.
Surprisingly, the setup that I took for this one was a very stable one for me. I usually don't run stable setups, but with the change that I made in the race, I dropped the downforce on the front of the car. That made the car more understeery, and I like the car to be understeery than oversteery. When it's oversteery, I cannot push the car; it always slips away from me. But this time, it felt stick to the ground for the whole race, except when I overtook Sauerbraten into Lacombe. We had a bit of a touch, I think, wheel to wheel. And I thought at that moment I was gonna lose the car on the curbs and I was gonna spin into the wall. But yeah, besides that, it was all fun and good.
That is great to hear. Now, next week is Portimao. It's a new track to the game. Have you raced it, and what are your thoughts on it with it coming up next week?
I've done a 100% race in Grand Prix mode, and from what it's like, I feel it's a decent track for me. I think I'm fast around it, but I'm not sure because I haven't done a proper online race on it yet, so still a bit of unknown. But I have a bit of confidence going into that one, especially with the win today.
That is definitely good to hear. Benny, do you have any more questions for our first-time race winner here in Split 1?
Yeah, it's your second podium and only third points-paying position so far this
Yeah.
season, Tudor. But look, I mean, you made it count, right? A second and now a race win. You actually are going to, by my calculations, although my math is terrible, you're going to leapfrog to 6th in the championship. You're going to bring Haas up a position as well. Where do you set your targets, your goal for these last few races of the season?
I mean, yeah, like you said, it's my third points finish this season. I've been really inconsistent, so from now on, I'm just targeting decent points, like top 5, maybe podiums. But yeah, we'll see. I just have to practice a bit more.
I guess we'll wait and see. Congratulations, Tudor. Fantastic drive here today. And we look forward to seeing if you can come home again on the top step of the podium next week when we go to Portimao.
Thank you also, guys, for commentating.
You're welcome. Thank you for giving us plenty of action.
You're welcome.
All right.
Well, have a good night. And
Thank
goodbye.
you. Cheers. Wow, Benny. So it looks like he's going to be our only post-race interview of the today. Got any closing remarks for the fans out there?
Absolutely, what a race, man! What an absolute! After all the break weeks and everything, we said, look, what a track to be back at, and it just absolutely delivered. It's fantastic. But if I may, Fizz, I actually just want to thank the sponsors won last time. Elgato, our first sponsor, bigger the Stream Deck. It's absolutely fantastic, man. Being in multiple esports, you gotta have it. It's awesome. It's absolutely fantastic. So, big thanks to Elgato. Big thanks to Driver61 as well for sponsoring us. Huge fan of him. You can check out his YouTube channel for plenty of content, as well as his Driver61 Sim Racing Academy. You can get a 25% off consultation session and a free coaching session when you use code AOR Driver61. Visit driver61.com/sim-racing/D61-sim-racing-academy. And our last sponsor, SIMSOK, as well. It is the first of its kind for sim racing. and maybe the first of its kind for Fizzymon for Christmas, as they said at the very beginning of the stream. It provides arch support, breathable panels, cushioned heel for comfort during endurance events, strategically placed unique grips so you have no more fleet slipping off the pedal with its special Cool Max yarn that wicks away moisture. Check them out, SIMSOK, SIMSOK.com.
Yep, thank you to our sponsors, and thank you to everyone watching. It was definitely a very entertaining race. Cannot wait to see what Portimao has to bring. I know I personally, like Tudor said, he's done a race. I have not done anything around there. I have no idea how that's going to go. I'm definitely looking forward to what that has to bring. But that is all for us, folks, today here on AOR PC European F1 Championship. Tudor, first-time race winner this season. We'll be back here next week in the commentary booth, same time, 8 p.m. UK for the Portuguese Grand Prix. To catch more Apex Online Racing action, stick around, because later on tonight we have the Americas tier racing at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or 1 a.m. British time. And then I know next week on Saturday there is the 12 Hours of Bathurst for a set of Corsa Competizione. So come ahead and come on over, check that out. It's going to be a fantastic stream and race as well. Thank you, as always, to all of you. Thank you to our sponsors one last time. We hope all of you have a safe and happy and healthy rest of your week. And we look forward to seeing you next time here on AOR.
Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely stream deck. For more information about the stream deck, the link is in the description below.